life is so damn short. So if it's a particular area in business, got to jump into it. If you're struggling at home or there's an area to grow in, you got to run into that fire, because on the other side of these things, man, that's the greatest version of you.
I think everything is a system. Everything in life is a system. And everything you've just said, in my mind, I'm like, I can't help it. The gears are turning. I'm twisting it up. I'm breaking it down. And in my mind, half of those things you could get done during your run.
I almost lost my wife right after giving birth to our son, and found myself in the hospital room as she was coding, right? They had the pads over her trying to keep her alive. My son had just been, I don't know, maybe a few days old at the time. So she was going through some sort of post-traumatic birth experience that.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Through the Noise, Business, Life, and Lies with Trevor Steele. I am excited about today. I was just talking to our guest about I am extremely intentional about who I have on our podcast for selfish reasons and for purely bringing solid content to my audience. We want to make sure that when we have somebody on, it's something we can learn from, somebody we can learn from. Guest today is Jon Majak. He is an author. He's a coach. He's an entrepreneur. He's a father, husband. He's been through the struggle and he continues to grow, continues to build businesses. And he's just an impressive person. Chances are, Jon Majak. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome in Jon. Welcome to the show, brother.
Humble, man. Humble. Thank you so much for that. And what a blessing it is to spend some time with you today, bro.
Yeah, man. I wasn't kidding about being selective. I am selective about who we have on the show, and it's for selfish reasons. I know I can learn from you. You're a mindset guru. You've been through a lot of stuff. I've heard your story before, and to press through and find a way to keep pushing in this market, in this world, is not always simple. And you're not just doing it, man. You wrote a book. You own how many businesses now?
9.
Yeah, 9 businesses. Your personal brand is absolute fire, which is probably the most impressive thing about you, because that people don't understand how difficult that really is. I'm honored to have you on the show, and I'm really excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about you and your story. So give us a little bit of your background. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much, Trevor. Man, first and foremost, I can tell you that, and I'm a child of God, and you and I talked about this, and we relate on this tip, that we're all doing the best we can to make something happen out here. It wasn't until I stepped into my truth of knowing who I was, what I stood for, and what really mattered to me, where the real breakthrough happened. Because I was always grinding on businesses. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old, knocking on doors, lawns, you name it, bro. Painting houses. I mean, I would do anything.
Sounds familiar.
And then I got to this point where ceilings, and I couldn't bust through. And I was always that kid who was struggling. In fact, at my wedding, my boys were recording videos, with the videographer. And they said, "What's your memory about Jon Majak? And what do you want to say about him?" About 5 out of 10 of them said the same thing. He just out here starting businesses, left and right, trying to make something happen, And I thought to myself, why didn't they say he's out there killing it with businesses, right? I'm out there starting businesses. Here I am, man. Like, it's 15 years now since those videotapes were released, man. It's like you figured it out. And when you unlock that key, when you unlock that safe, you realize that the key was actually your faith. And once I started giving God all the glory, everything changed, man. So yeah, a little bit of backstory about myself is entrepreneur my entire life. I'm a husband, I'm a father. I am truly passionate about helping people break through on every level, personally, professionally. I know you relate to me on that one. I like people to step into their truth because life is so damn short. So if it's a particular area in business, got to jump into it. If you're struggling at home or there's an area to grow in, you got to run into that fire, because on the other side of these things, man, that's the greatest version of you. So hopefully as we start to unpack this today, we can inspire people, man, to pull the mask off, pull the veil down, pull the veil up, and just go after and chase what matters to them.
Dude, I love that. I think you and I have so much in common in that aspect. I think God puts you, no, I don't think. I know God puts you through certain things in life in order to prepare you for what he has planned for you. If you don't believe in God, keep trying hard things. I promise you will. because we're not built for it, man. We're not built for it. It's not natural. We don't have what it takes, but through the Holy Spirit and through working with God, dude, all things are possible. And that's just true. I think most people look at Joe Rogan. Have you seen this? Have you seen what's happening with Joe Rogan?
That's wild.
Talk about a kingdom builder if God got a hold of Joe Rogan. But I'm just excited to have you here, man. You know, I know you talk a lot about mindset and what it takes to get through things. For me, it's always been natural for me to kind of fight my way through and try and prove myself. And for egotistical reasons, most of my life, it's always been about ego. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. You can't tell me, like Kanye West says. You know, what is Eminem? I'll give you another rap quote. Eminem said, "I'm a bully because I make myself do what I said I was going to do," or something like that.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
It's true though. You know, as entrepreneurs, we naturally are pulled towards that. But and speak on from your perspective, how do you hit that wall and keep going? Because you know you've hit walls throughout the process.
Mm-hmm. So, man, I feel like I've hit a breakthrough recently. I've hit a stride that I don't think I've ever hit before. So I've had ups and downs, you know, we all do. And this one is kind of, I'm getting hit left and right as I'm climbing this one. The crazy thing is I found that I wake up so early, and it used to be for myself, Trevor. Like I'd wake up, get in the sauna or work out in the garage or whatever, right? It's always about me. The breakthrough now, it sounds wild, but I wake up every day. I'm downstairs by 4:30 a.m. and I'm opening the Word.
Mm-hmm.
Opening the Word, whether it's devotional, it's the Bible, whatever it is. I'm spending at least 60 seconds, a minute with the person that actually created me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm giving all the glory to him, and I'm showing him that it says it in the Bible, man. Like seek first. It doesn't say seek second, third, or fifth. It doesn't say check Facebook. It doesn't say wake up and focus on working out. It's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how the blueprint's been there for us the whole time. But something special is happening with that mindset.
True.
Because, dude, I've been strong in mindset. I've always been mentally tough. But, dude, it's almost like the armor wraps around you. You know, keep on the armor.
Put on the full armor of God.
That's what I'm doing.
Come on, baby.
Every day. So if you're listening to this, if you are literally spending time with us right now and catching that word, put on the armor of God. We're not playing a game with you. Like this is where the breakthrough happens. We live in a spiritual world. So at the end of the day, business is easy when you realize what the game's all about. It's hard when you do, like we talked about earlier, man. It's hard when you do it all on your own. That's where you're going to lose.
Have you read Wild at Heart?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, you got to read that book.
Really?
You got to put it on your next list for sure.
Right now.
Wild at Heart. Gosh, I can't think of the name of the author right now. Anyway, Wild at Heart. It's basically about the spiritual world around us and how it impacts us. And if you're not preparing yourself constantly and putting on the full armor, we're going to take y'all to church today. I'm just going that's all there is to it. We didn't plan it, but you're going to church today. So if you don't like it, sign out. We're taking you to church, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, Wild at Heart. You got to read it, man. It opens your eyes to the real world we're living in. You know, if you think as a Christian, if you think you're just going to tough it out and run your businesses and scale and everything's going to be great and you're going to have a great company culture, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Unless you're exactly where the devil wants you to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're not helping anybody. You're not improving the kingdom. You're not bringing the gospel. You know, that's just the facts, man.
He doesn't come knocking at your door. He isn't showing up with horns. He shows up in the form of comfortability. He wants your cage wide open. So when it's all said and done and your number's called, he's gonna look at you and say, "I left the cage open for you the whole time to fly away, but you sat right there, nice and comfortable, didn't you?"
Yeah.
That is the test we all need to get past, man. You know,
dude, I love it. Check out that book though. You won't regret it. So you said helping people step into their truth. What does that tangibly look like for you?
It's knowing what I stand for. It's like being very clear on what matters to me. And for me, my truth is crystal clear life goals, crystal clear business goals, and then measurable actions to get there. So I wake up as part of my morning routine. I have the vision board that works for me, and I've been doing it for, 10 years. I just wake up and I spend time on knowing what matters. Like, of course, what's first. Then we move down to second, third, fourth. We just start moving down the ladder. And like, I know what I'm trying to accomplish in my life. I also know what I want to accomplish in my business. So I have on my whiteboard, it's actually above me, it's all my business goals. I'm very tangible with that. So if you want to step into your purpose, step into your truth, you need to take the time to define that. And that's a hard process, man. And anybody who has spent time trying to figure out their life and business goals they understand what I'm saying. But if you want a little tip on how to help you understand what that looks like, it's called the funeral analogy, where you basically reverse engineer what people are going to say at you at the end of your life.
Ooh,
yeah,
powerful.
people are going to step into it, bro, and they're going to get up there. Are people going to talk about you? If so, are you blessed enough to actually have people show up there? And if so, what are they going to say about you? It's certainly not going to be, man, that guy really built a 7-figure business.
Right.
There's a lot more to life. Define it.
You know what, dude? I freaking love that. And I just defined it in 3 seconds, and I didn't even know that was a thing. But I can tell you what I want people to say. I want people to say, just knowing him made my life better.
You give me the chills, bro.
That's true. That's what I want people to say. And I don't live into that enough. You know, I really don't, because I'm like you, I'm trying to run multiple businesses, and I'm trying to write a book, and I'm trying to run a podcast. I'm trying to build a personal brand. It's like all these things, and you start to get selfish and self-focused, and you lose track of what really matters. And it's people. None of this happens without people. Man, you just challenged me right out of the gate. What are we in 12 minutes in, and I'm already writing stuff down?
That's how you do it. That exercise will change your life forever.
You're
not going to say, hey, I'm going to go travel to the Keys tomorrow. You're not going to say, I want to go accomplish. You're going to know what you stand for. And then you can start to fill in the gaps with things that make your life fun and exciting and build value into your family and your businesses. It all comes together when you start at the end and work backwards.
You know what's funny? When I was younger, I used to call this like self-help mumbo jumbo. That's just the way I was raised. You know, bootstraps.
Yeah.
Get to work. You know, keep your head down. Don't complain. Hard work is all that matters. There's a lot of truth to that. But man, what a shift has happened in the last decade for me. I spend most of my day listening to podcasts and Christian music and worship and positive influences, because it's hard when the world hits you from the side. Oh, by the way, your truck just broke down, or one of your guys just rear-ended a minivan full of people. And it was like, okay,
right.
All right. Well, and then if your head's right and you're in the right space, you're oriented towards God, and your identity is in him and not in your outcomes, then those little details, they just kind of roll off. But man, all right, let me ask you this. How does your day play out if you sleep in and you don't have time for that quiet time?
So believe it or not, I don't allow myself to sleep in. I know it sounds crazy, but the old Jon Majak said 4:30 a.m. It's a Saturday. I deserve this break. Or I go out with my friends on a night out. It's just the boys, and we go mini golf or drive shack, whatever. Had a couple of drinks, and I wake up, and it's like, wait a minute, I am not. Let me tell you something, Trevor. This right here, if you are listening to this part, bro, this is the moment. When you wake up and it's Saturday morning and you are struggling, I promise you this, the devil's coming at you every single day trying to punch you up with comfortability. He wants you to lay in bed.
Oh, yeah.
Say, oh, you know what? This bed feels nice and cozy today. That's Monday through Friday.
You earned it.
Bro, you got to get up on Monday through Friday with a knife. Be like, not going to happen, right? Get back down, devil. This is my day, not yours. Saturday and Sunday come along, and I've come to realize the old Jon Majak said, oh, man, devil knocks me down, I stay down. This one, he's waking up on Friday and Saturday and saying, I'm bringing out the knife on you today, Bubba. And what I do is I bring out the machine gun. I'm like, stay down. That's it, dude. So I wake up 7 days a week, no excuses, and I go chase what matters, even if I don't feel like it, especially when I don't feel like it. So there are no more excuses, man. If I'm not downstairs doing my thing at 4:30, dude, my whole day would be off. My whole life would be off. In fact, that's my answer. Don't give yourself any rope. Don't give yourself too much rope.
Yeah, I've developed a bit of a morning routine. Listen, everybody wants to talk about your morning routine, your ice baths, your sauna, your get your morning routine right. Well, listen, you have a morning routine, whether you want to admit it or not.
You better believe it, bro.
You do. And it's either your routine where you craft your life, or it's the routine that just passively happens. And
Yes.
you wake up, you stretch, you're like, oh, what a miserable morning. And you go get your horrible Keurig coffee. And no, man, do better. So this is
Yes.
what I've started doing. I get to the office about 6:30. Well, I try to get here by 6:30. I'm not as disciplined as you, but my internal clock is finally adapting. This is relatively new for me, last 3-4 months. Get to the office. I always have my Bible sitting right here.
Mm-hmm.
I have usually I have like a YouTube series I'm going through, where I'm studying a book in the Bible, where I go through that. I spend about 10-15 minutes just quiet, just talking to God and praying and getting my head right and preparing for the day. I try my hardest not to pick my phone up until after that happens, which
Yep.
isn't simple because, I go to the office only like 5 minutes away from my house, but get that routine down. And like you, if for some reason I get to the office and something from left field comes out and I've got to stop what I'm doing and do some work or focus on something, man, it messes my whole week up. You got to put on that armor and be prepared. And
Consistent, no matter what. That
yeah,
compound effect is happening whether you like it or not.
yeah,
If you're waking up and your mornings are not good, I promise you, it's just what you said. You've got a morning routine, whether you like to believe it or not, and it's not a good one. And the compound effect is working against you. You keep stacking it up. Watch how that thing unfolds, and your life will never be the same.
I mean, your entire day is selfless as an entrepreneur. Let's just be honest. It's selfless. You're putting yourself out there for your customers, your future clients, your
Mm-hmm.
employees, your future employees, your employees' families, your family. Like your entire day is built around that. Your mornings need to be fully selfish.
Yes, sir. You better
Put
believe
on
it.
your mask first, right?
Sir.
That's
Yes, sir. Zig
I love.
Scott's dropping some bombs in the comments too, man. He
Oh
said, "Is
man,
this
I
live?" Pat Clarkson here. Crazy, bro. What's up, fellas? Good to see you.
love it. Sorry, guys, I haven't been paying attention. I'm gonna jump y'all the comments in there. Here's something I've discovered, and you can tell me what you think about it. So another thing is entrepreneurs, businessmen, young fathers. It's really tough to find the time to get anything done. So this is what I've started doing. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to Audible books and tons of things like that. So when I'm driving and when I'm running, I run every day. I'm listening to a book, worship music, or a podcast only. I don't do regular music anymore. So I'm really optimizing my time. I might be able to work through an entire book in 1 week just in my running time. So I don't know. Have you looked in anything like that? Do you do anything like that?
Every day. It's one of my 7 daily disciplines is at least 10 minutes of an audiobook. There's like no budging for my disciplines, man. And I try to not, what's crazy is I've come to understand that life gets hard really fast, but it's like they say the days are long and the days are long and the years are short.
Yes.
Like I've come to realize I try to bust out at least 5 or 6 of my daily disciplines before 7 a.m. And that's really helped me. Just like whatever they are, one for happiness, one for finance, one for career, one for, right? Like label what matters to you and figure out how to get most of them done before the sun rises. Dude, and you're going to be a brick. Your life's going to be a machine.
Yeah. I was actually listening to a podcast. Can't remember who it was. Anyway, he basically was saying that there's a 10-minute window in the morning as the sun's coming up where the sunlight, if you literally just look into the sunlight for that 10 minutes, that it'll jumpstart your day and your metabolism. And I mean, it's like
Yeah.
scientific.
Gary Breakfast.
That's it. It's Brecca. Yeah, it is Brecca. Yeah. Anyway, I haven't started doing that. You're not going to see me outside in my robe just staring up at the sky at 5:30 in the morning, but maybe one day.
Something tells me it's only a matter of time until I see you out there like this.
I'm gonna have to buy a couple acres out in the country so I can do it. Never mind.
Let me know where you get a plot of land, man. I'll go right next to you, bro.
Let's do it.
So
let's dive into, because we jumped into the meat so fast, and I love it. Actually, you know what? I want to hear about your 7 daily disciplines. I wrote that down. Do you actually have a list of 7 daily disciplines, and can you tell it really quickly?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I got my assistant that holds me accountable to it every single day. And go figure, she's messaging me while we're on this podcast, say, where are you at? Right. So my health, I don't veer from it. I've got at least a half an hour of strength training, right? Minimum. And I've got at least a 30 to 45 minute cardio session, whether it's walking, whatever that looks like. My happiness, man, I journal every day and I didn't want to. And I'm going to give people a quick tip. After I run through these, Trevor, I'm going to give them the actionable tip that's going to, if they apply this, they'll be unbreakable forever. my relationships. So I speak life at least into one person a day, no matter what. For my relationships, yeah. And that could be my kid, that could be my wife, that could be my neighbor, it could be a random friend or colleague. My personal development, like I said, 10 minutes of audiobook. My finances, at least 10 minutes of driving forward my financial literacy. My career, complete at least 1 to 3 powerful tasks on my to-do list. My impact, one thing right now for my Fearless Track Club. So I started a track program in my local area,
Let's
right?
go.
Where it's a nonprofit that's going to help special needs kids get on the track. Everybody's welcome at Fearless Track Club. It's going to help underprivileged kids that can't afford it. Like, we're going to get them on the track. We're creating an area. And that little daily discipline, bro, is what led to this, believe it or not. And then I've got one thing. I actually added an 8th one yesterday, believe it or not. And that is something for my home. So something in my personal life that I need to get done for the house. That was slipping through. It was bleeding through the cracks. So here's the thing. If you're on this part, remember, this is the breakthrough moment. Stop overthinking everything in your life. If you know you need to do something for your happiness, but you can't figure it out, it's because you're overcomplicating it. So for me, for the last 25, 30 years, I've been working on personal development. It's always been like journal or meditate or whatever. Somehow, some way, I'm never consistent with it. The secret is 60 seconds, 1 minute. Journal for 1 minute. Start your iWatch or whatever. 60 seconds, you're done. Something for your relationships. Stop saying I got to message 5 people today. One person, 60 seconds, message them. This is the breakthrough for me, man. This is what I meant. Like, when I'm telling you I'm charging up, it's because there's no excuses. If I can't do one thing for 60 seconds, I'm the problem.
Right. So here's how my brain works and how I look at this. I think everything is a system. Everything in life is a system. And everything you've just said, in my mind, I'm like, I can't help it. The gears are turning. I'm twisting it up. I'm breaking it down. And in my mind, half of those things you could get done during your run.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So now what you've done is you've taken something like running. Maybe you don't love to exercise, walk, or run. It's not your favorite thing to do, but now you've made it a priority because you're going to get these 4 daily disciplines done during that. So now you have 5 daily disciplines done in your 1 hour walk, right?
Before 7. Imagine
before morning, dude. And imagine if you text 2 or 3. By the way, put me on your text list.
You got you, man.
Dude, I could use it, man. Some days you just wake up and you're like,
I'm checking in on you now. I got
Appreciate
you on
it,
my
man.
radar, whether you like it or not.
Love it. I'll let you know when it's like, all right, John, chill.
Yeah.
No, man, I just think that everything is systems. And if you can find a way to take your daily disciplines, I love that you actually have a whiteboard with them in front of you because, you know, top of mind awareness is, you know, if you don't have a goal like right in front of you at all points to keep you aligned, then you're going to miss it. But you can turn these things into a system that becomes a habit. It's so much easier in my mind. Some people, everybody's different. Some people are just naturally disciplined. I have to turn it into a system.
Me too. In the same way.
Yeah, I love it, man. All right, let's go back into, I want to talk a little bit about your businesses and kind of how they started and how they evolved and what gets you up early in the morning now, what you're excited about. Don't leave anything out. This might take a while because you said you have like 82 businesses.
Yeah. I've got 9 right now, and I'm trying to make sure those are all dialed in at a really good level. My main business is Mr. Pipeline. I started that 2012. So this will be our 13th anniversary this October. And I started that, literally had no idea what I was doing. Just built a website called GoDaddy every day, figured out how to like generate some sort of leads. And before you know it, 13 years later, the business we've got, I don't know, north of 500 clients. And, you know, we do our best to serve, man, and do what we started out to do from day one. And that's to lead with authenticity, try our best. And hey, we're not perfect. But at the end of the day, at least you have somebody in your corner you can bank on. And you know, my next business after that is Gutter Growth. That's the Gutter Growth Mastermind, where probably close to 70-ish different members in there, and it's all about masterminding, helping these guys grow, build something special. Led by 2 incredible influencers in the business, Grant and Tim, and that business has taken on a life of its own, which led us to Gutter Summit. And Gutter Summit is a convention for the industry. And we had our first one last year. It was incredible. A couple hundred people out there. We have our second one coming up in September in Atlanta at the Georgian Terrace. That's going to be super dope. that led me to Mother's Gutters. So as we started seeing, as you see this brand pop off more and more, there's intention behind it. And the intention is, rather than just have our gutter growth mastermind teach everybody, we said, you know what? Why don't we just document everything? Why don't we start one from scratch, show people it's possible, and then document every journey along the way, every milestone along the way. And we're doing just that, building the brand, running the ads, doing the offline and online marketing, the hiring, firing, like it's all being documented and it's being put inside of our growth vault inside of the Gutter Growth Mastermind. I have a virtual assistant business. That business is called Secret Weapons. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. And it's a really incredible business that answers phones, helps people run and optimize their business behind the scenes. It's AI driven too. So I have my VAs that run AI to help really exponentially grow companies. So that's cool. A new business that I have that's recently launched is in the AI realm too. It's called Customer Closer. And that business is literally closing jobs left and right. So there's no more money left on the table for home service providers. So what do I mean by that? Gone are the days where pipeline drives in leads and they're sitting in your email box or sitting in your forms, right? Or in your CRM. Customer Closer will literally contact them and start to work them through the pipeline, all through AI technology. But Trevor, the craziest thing is that you would never in a million years know it's AI, because our programmers go in there and they're so smart. They misspell words and they say, I'm so sorry, please accept my apologies. Like, I'm been a long day. Like, it's so humanized that it's brilliant. Mm-hmm. So we're taking jobs. I always say pipeline will drive them to the green. Customer Closer will automatically get them in. It's insane, dude. You have to test it out to show you a demo, man, just so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
I have an investment business that is called Capitello, and that business basically is invests in businesses and land, things like that. Dude, and there's probably one or two more other ones, but I'm going to throw up at this point if I keep going through all the businesses. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of cool opportunities that, dude, it all goes back to God. It has nothing to do with me. People say it must be nice. And I'm like, dude, it has nothing. He chose me to serve and partner with certain people. And I have a big vision and I'm just executing on that vision.
Yeah. Yeah. The truth is, and I've been saying this for years, is I've been called to great sacrifice. And I believe that my entire experience up to this point has created the persona and the person that I am in order to sustain this sacrificial way of living. It's not like a great thing. Nothing in the Bible says that your walk with God's going to be easy. Congratulations, you made it. No, it's half the disciples were crucified and brutally murdered. More than half. I think most of them. I think only one or two didn't. It's not supposed to be easy. You're going to war. That's what we're doing. Yeah. I can see you want to say something. So
no, it's just tough, man. Life is hard. Yeah. Life is really hard. You got to be harder. If you're chosen to be an entrepreneur, you better get tough, man, and grow in your toughness every day. Otherwise, the world's going to break you. Yeah. And I'm a perfect example because you know my story, dude. I almost broke, right? And in fact, some would say I did. It was after my wife almost passed away. You watch your girl almost pass away, it does something to you that you really can't ever put into words. And dude, I think it just all comes back to something happened to me in that moment where I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and the devil was coming closer. But it's funny how it all ties back into what we were originally saying. You got to put on the armor.
Yeah. Well, do you want to get into that story? Can we do that?
Dude, that's a rough one, man. That's a rough one. I almost lost my wife right after giving birth to our son and found myself in the hospital room as she was coding, right? They had the pads over her trying to keep her alive. My son had just been, I don't know, maybe a few days old at the time. So she was going through some sort of post-traumatic birth experience that many women would understand, but it's hard for us to understand in that moment. Sit down in the emergency room, my eyes closed. Remember, I've got my little guy in a onesie, and I put him down, and all of a sudden saw stars and blacked out, man. And I always say while I'm on stage, but like everybody's heard of a heartbreak. Not many people have ever heard of a mind break. That's what happened to me. And my mind broke after a really tough childhood, maybe 30 years of a really tough childhood, which is a whole different story. I now had a really extremely challenging adulthood hit me just like that. I spent a year and a half after that. You know this story, but I was in complete darkness. And if you're on here at this stage in the game and you're listening to this moment, complete darkness is a suicidal trance. That's where I found myself. Somebody like me, who loves God, who's positive, who's been through a lot of shit in their life. At the end of the day, I found myself completely covered. And by the grace of God, I got through it after 15 months and I never looked back. So if you're in a hard place right now, it's okay. Breathe, get through it, look up, because when you're on your knees and you're down, you've got nothing left. There's only one place to look up. Look, and that's up. All of this stuff happened to me exactly like it was supposed to, man. I'm not here by accident anymore. And I don't live life like it was an accident anymore. And I think that's why my life is heading in the direction that it's supposed to.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. When you raise your arms in the air or raise them out, that the blood from your arms rushes to your heart. You should look that up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just look that up. There's videos where you can see the blood literally rushing to you through your vascular system. Dude, you've got a powerful story. Two things I want to encourage you about. I know you've written your story down. He's an author. Ring the Bell. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend you read it. Awesome book. You can get it on Amazon. Maybe we'll drop a link so you can pick that book up. But dude, your 7 daily disciplines. I don't know if you've written that book yet, but you need to write that book. It would be a short book. It'd be a very good read. I think it would be a huge seller. You need to write that book. And your story, I think you need to get your story out there on the big stage, man. I know a lot of people have heard it, but it's bigger than the industries we work in. I think you need to get that out, man.
That's inspiring, bro. I appreciate you encouraging me with that. I'm going to take that to heart, and I might even have somebody hold me accountable to that.
Maybe we can hold each other accountable then.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, I started on that journey of writing a book. It's not natural for me. It's not easy. I'm struggling to get through a single chapter, but I don't know how you did it, but I have an outline, and I start writing a piece of this chapter here, and then I go to chapter number 6 and I start writing a little bit of chapter number 6, and I go back to chapter 2 and fine tune it, and then back to chapter 8. But I'm trying to get my story out there as well. And mine's been my story is more about being stubborn and not paying attention and not listening to God when he's been calling me my entire life. And
you're on the right track with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Write the chapters, fill them in as you go, man. That's how your story's going to come out, and then you'll piece them together, and you're on the right track.
Yeah. The other thing that's tough about it is I feel like my story is never really going to be fully written, so I have to end at some point. You got to be like, all right, chapter 7, that's it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the beginning days. So for those that don't know what Mr. Pipeline is, explain what that is and how that business started and where you see it going from here.
So Mr. Pipeline was a business that came out of thin air. I owned a pressure washing business around 15 years old called John's Perfect Pressure. I had a little trailer hitched to the back of my Toyota Avalon, and I was just knocking on doors. This was before Google Ads really started to pop off, and I would just knock on doors and ask for jobs, and started growing a little customer base. And eventually I ended up learning that this game of life and business, and through studying all these successful people like Michael Gerber through E-Myth, I stumbled into that book when I was little. And I realized that, man, I got to turn this little idea I have into a systematized business, and with some standard operating procedures and with some best practices. And dude, I started doing that really young, and I ended up reinventing that business from John's Perfect Pressure to Power Clean Pressure Cleaning. And then it had this cool logo with this big muscle guy, and it took on a life of its own, dude. And it exploded. And once I started understanding businesses needs to be done at a higher level, the business took off, and I ended up selling that. And when I sold it, the guy who bought it from me, incredible guy, he ends up looking at me at the table. He's like, listen, John, I've got trucks, I've got employees. I mean, I've got a cool brand. He's like, but the reality situation is what you've been doing behind the scenes with all of your online rankings and all of your reviews. He's like, all that stuff. He goes, I want all the digital assets, not just your physical ones. And I'm like, wow, here I am doing all this stuff behind the scenes at night after I'm done growing my pressure washing business. I'm doing these other things. And that was really the gold. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that was an aha moment, man. It really was an aha moment, because I had no idea what I was going to do after I sold the business. So I go and drop off my final check to the chlorine store. The guy looks at me, Eric, and he looks at me and he goes, John, what are you going to do now? I said, I have no idea. And he goes, well, you've been really busy out here. He goes, you're the number one chlorine buyer. He goes, you're going to dry up my business, man. Why don't you help me market a little bit? And I go, dude, I don't know how to market for a pool business, but I can try. He goes, just try. I'm like, all right, see how that goes. The guy I was selling to, a company called Southern Sky Painting, I was selling them leads, because Mr. Pipe, our power clean was out there doing their work. But every time I went somewhere, I'd always try to figure out how to grab a lead from a broken roof tile or a house that needed painting, and I'd figure out how to like sell those leads so I made more per job. Looked at the painter, and the painter actually called me one day, and she said, "So what are you going to do now?" I said, "You're done with power clean." And I said, "I have no idea." She goes, "Would you ever want to help us do some marketing?" And I'm like, wow. So I took on a painting company. Dude, before you know, I have 2 clients. And I'm like, wait a minute. A third one came from a referral grout cleaning company. Dude, I'm like, I have got to start figuring out how to make this a business now. So I went out and created a logo, started building a website. And I failed for like 2 years trying to figure it all out until like year 3, we started like learning and hitting our stride. And here we are, bro. Seriously, it's literally from the bottom, like no investment, one couple $100 check at a time to get to where we're at 13 years later.
Yeah. If you don't think that's from God, then all right.
Right.
So here's what I take away from that. And I think it's important for people to learn this. It's something, if I could go back 20 years and talk to my younger self, I would tell them this. Your current situation, the things you're going through right now on a daily basis where you feel like it's a waste of time, you're spinning your wheels, you're wading through the water and you're getting nowhere. Those things, those moments are teaching you skill that the future you will need in order to be successful. So you had no idea that when you were building a pressure washing company, that skill set was going to turn into a multi-million-dollar digital agency firm. The term digital agency probably didn't even exist, right?
I couldn't even spell it.
Yeah. So, and not only that, that would take you to the next level where it prepares you to write a book and prepares you to start all these other businesses. Think about the other businesses. Why do you think all your partners in your businesses want to work with you? It's your skill set, right? And you didn't intentionally build that skill set when you were washing houses. No, it just kind of happened because you were able to focus and put one foot in front of the other and learn a skill set that was required in the moment to make the best out of the resources God gave you in the moment, right? And think now where that silly pressure washing company has taken you. Dude, I'm constantly reminding myself that you might not feel like you're doing anything. You might not feel like this is getting anywhere, but you're building the platform to take you to where you're supposed to be.
So good, man. So good. That's the name of the game. It's like putting that knife in that fire, right?
Yeah.
You've got to get forged in that fire. A knife doesn't get strong because it just went into the fire and came out. It has to come out, get heated up, get hammered, thrown back in, sharpened, hit again, thrown back in. And eventually it's going to come out exactly like the plan was supposed to be. But dude, the name of the game is pain, struggle, some beat downs, and then things might look good and then you get beat down again. And that's the game until your perfect thing comes out at the end.
Right. And here's, we talked in depth about this, me and Jon Karmazin, great friend. I know you know Jon, just an incredible human. It doesn't really get easier. It's not that all of a sudden it's like becoming a Christian, all of a sudden you follow Jesus and everything's solved for you. That's not how this life works. As you grow and expand your businesses and scale your businesses, it's not going to get easier. It's just going to get bigger and more complicated, and the problems are more expensive. The only true difference is the new you can handle that. The you 15 years ago could not handle it. So you're being prepared for this, and you're always talking about mindset. I think that as long as you know that there's no target, there's no real target. It's okay to set goals and have dreams and say, I'm shooting for the stars, I'm aiming for the moon. That's perfect. You need to do that. But understand that you're never going to get there. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. Yep. You're never going to get there. But when you do lift your head up and you followed the systems and you followed your calling and your vision and your drive and you pay attention to those things, at some point you are going to lift your head up and say, man, you know what? God took me somewhere I never saw this coming. And this is incredible. And that's my encouragement to you is don't think that you're going to put in the time when you're young and then arrive when you're older. It's not how it works.
Powerful stuff, bro. There is no such thing as a quantum leap. Like you can't go from the guys who are hitting the Ozempic and know, hey, if you're on Ozempic, that's great. Wish you the best. But if you're just going after that and you lose all your weight, like the reality is like you just try to cheat a reward that you didn't earn. All power to you if you hit it.
The lotto is a perfect example.
Yeah, like you didn't get your money. Like you didn't understand. You don't even have money management. Like you're trying to cheat a system. That's why those NFL players or whoever they hit that and they lose it. It's not an accident. The quantum leap is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be built over time. And if it does, that you were the select few, and your plan's different than ours. But whatever that looks like, man, you don't just one day wake up and you're a pastor. You literally have to walk through hell and back to get to where you're at. So yeah, man, one brick on top of the next, bro.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to find the Zig Ziglar quote right now. He says something basically along the lines that if you're not a millionaire yet, you should praise God that you're not a millionaire because you're not ready for it. That's a crappy reminder too, you know? Like, wait a minute.
I know. It's like the guy who, in the best shape of my life at the end of the year, it's like if I had just quantum leaped my way there, I wouldn't know how to take care of myself. I wouldn't know what to eat. I wouldn't know how to work out. I wouldn't know how to have the right mindset. I'd lose it all like that. Yep. So like, why not stack it one day at a time, earn it, figure it out so you can keep it for the rest of your life?
You know, it's so funny. The older I get, the more I realize all those cheesy one-line things you heard as a kid are actually just gold. Like the gold standard. There's a perfect example. Treat others how you want to be treated.
Right.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. No, it's real. If you actually want to be treated a certain way, like if you want to be respected, you have to respect everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you are visibly seen in public being disrespectful to your staff, your family, anything like that, that's how people are going to treat you too. You ever notice when you have a conversation with somebody, you match their energy?
You know it. Yep.
That's real stuff, man. So you're matching their energy because you're treating them how they want to be treated. Like when people meet you, they're immediately fired up for some reason. There's something about you, you know, I smile immediately. I'm like, that's my dog right there. I don't know why. I don't know you that well. You know what I mean? But there's something about you. That's the energy you put out. And so that's the energy you're going to receive.
I love that, man. I love that.
It's true. Our mutual friend, Pat Clark, I'll tell you what his energy that comes off is authenticity, honesty, and love. You know what I mean? Am I wrong? You get that?
Right on the money.
Yeah.
So you match it, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Mine is all business, probably a little bit of a jerk. People meet me, they're like, ooh.
No, man, it's not true. The first time I met you, I remember thinking, like, I really like this guy. You're a special guy. You have great energy. And I think you have a huge future ahead of you, man.
Thank you. I really do. I appreciate it. Scott Rayo, got to say hello to my buddy, Scott. How's it going, buddy? And that means a lot, you know, because sometimes you go through life and it's just like, I mean, it's funny that here we are talking about all these mindset things, and it doesn't matter how long you talk about it. You still have to get through the noise, right? You still have to fight your way through it. And so some days are better than others, but for the most part, I got to realign myself with God and know that I'm on the right path. It's one thing to hear it from yourself. It's very rare to hear it from an external source. So you just accomplished one of your daily 7 disciplines, brother. I appreciate you.
Bro, speak life, man. Every chance you get. Somebody's always around the corner and they're wondering and they're in their own thoughts. And I'm just like, man, somebody did it to me one day. And I think before like we close this out shortly, whenever, I wanted to at least put this out there. One day I remember calling my buddy Josh Latimer and I asked him to carve out a second for me. He called me. So I was in a church. My kid was playing basketball in a church. Called him up and I said, dude, I honestly don't even know where I'm taking this conversation. All I know is I feel like I needed to talk to you. Yeah. And he goes, bro, go. What you got? I said, bro, I feel like I'm not doing my will here on earth. I know you believe you're huge. That's your life. So let me ask you, bro, from your perspective, because I'm lost. Am I supposed to like write a book one day? And like, should I ever, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to speak on a stage. And like, I don't know if like I'm supposed to like keep doing business. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm lost. You know what he said to me? I'll never forget it, Trevor. This guy said to me on the phone, you know, John, there's only one thing I want to tell you. You, my friend, are a weapon for the kingdom of God.
Whoa.
Right? And he goes, so if you want to ask me if you're going to speak on stages, the answer is yes. And it's going to be bigger stages than you can ever imagine. If you want me to tell you, ask you if you're going to write a book, dude, you're going to write a book. It's going to be a bestseller and you'll probably have several after that are also going to get better than the next. He goes, if you're going to build a business, I think you'll end up building many businesses and you're going to change so many lives because of it. And he goes, you need to understand that God, he built doctors, lawyers, and don't ever doubt yourself. He needs businessmen too. He needs people to help create this world and have visions. He's like, bro, think of yourself as a weapon for the kingdom and you'll never, ever look a different way. Bro,
dude, I love that.
Trevor, that was the moment I realized I got the chills, dude. I remember getting off the call, going in and speaking to my wife on the bleachers. And I said, oh my God. She goes, what? I said, I don't know if this is a statement or not, but I feel like Josh just spoke life into me. I felt life
Mm-hmm.
breathed into me. It spoke into me, bro. So like, if he was able to change my life that much, and that ripple effect has only been crazy since then, bro, yes, you are an incredible human. And yes, you are going to change in so many lives, including your own. Like, everything that you want is yours and some, because you're a weapon too, man.
Thank you, brother. I got a story similar to that. I'll tell it really quickly, except it's much shorter and much less expected. I didn't go searching for it like you did. First of all, extremely ADHD to the point where when I was younger, I would be told to read a paragraph of a story and out loud. They'd say in a testing facility, like there's something wrong with you. We got to do some tests. So I'm reading these stories, and as soon as I put the book down, they'd say, okay, tell me about what you just read. And I would look them and I would articulate it perfectly. So you would think that I'm comprehending it. I would look at them and say, I have no idea what I just read out loud to you. And they'd say, do it again. And I would read it out loud, and they'd say, okay, tell me about it. And I would be able to because now I'm trying to be more cognitive. I'd be able to say something about it, but not much. And then they'd ask me a question about the main character, Jerry. And I'd be like, I don't remember a person named Jerry. So it's like all these extreme learning disabilities and complete failure throughout middle school and high school, barely made it through high school, kind of cheated my way through it. But there was this one teacher, I'll never forget it. And I should reach out to him to tell him this. I mean, I was a complete failure. Nobody expected anything from me. Nothing. There was this one girl who was a straight A student, and she missed a couple of days out of school because she was sick. And I heard her approach the teacher's desk and say, hey, is there anyone in the class that takes really good notes that I could copy their notes to prepare for this week? And he said, Trevor takes really good notes. And I overheard it. And I remember going, what? And I mean, I want to cry right now thinking about it. And it was because I am extremely intelligent and I am really good at systems, really, really good at this stuff, the things that, most operations, big picture. So I can take a story or a lesson during class and break it down and put it into compartmental, breakdownable segments. I'm good at that. It came naturally to me. But that was the first time in my entire life that somebody in an academic setting said, he's gifted, you should probably talk to him. I was failing his class, so it really catapulted me to living into a calling that I had no idea I had. These types of things, what we're doing right now, like this, taking notes, like I'm over here taking notes as we speak, and I'm able to regurgitate them back to you. It is a skill set that I had no idea that I had, but because he lived into me in just a little bit in one statement, didn't even know he was doing it. He wasn't even talking to me. But dude, that power of just, you never know what someone's going through. You never know what they're dealing with in that moment. Just having the ability to recognize people in their shoes and where they are and speak life into them is a gift from God. Josh definitely has it. Everybody that knows Joshua Lattimore knows that. And brother, you 100% have it. And I think it's encouraging. So if you're going through your day and you want to find out how to speak life into people and speak life into yourself by doing that, that's the true way to find value in this world, is to add value to other people.
Right.
And
love that story, man. That's special. I hope somebody heard that today and they're thinking to themselves, who can I speak life into? Because that's what it's all about. When it's all said and done, man, you can help them with business. I can help them with business. We can give them some advice, but like take action today. Like, do something different that you didn't do yesterday, and watch how your life starts to explode right in front of you.
One sentence, one conversation for you, one sentence for me can completely change the trajectory of my life. Wild. Dude, this has been amazing. We're on minute 55. I hate to cut it short. I don't want to run anything out. If you've got anything to add towards the end, give it to me, man. What you thinking? Where's your head at?
I think before we close it out, just remember what my takeaway was after I got saved in my final second. Not my last minute, hour, day, my last second. When it was all over, there was this overwhelming feeling that hit me, and it was a really simple statement. And that the meaning to life is to show up for God, to show up for yourself, and to show up for the ones you love most. So take time today to do just that. Don't forget who's in charge. Don't forget that your life matters too. And don't forget to love on people just like you deserve. So that's how I want to end it, man.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Listen, I can't believe I'm gonna say this because I didn't know I was gonna become a pastor, but if for some reason this is hitting home for you and you just want to have a conversation about God, man, reach out to me, reach out to Jon. I know he would be willing to talk to you. Hit us up in our DMs, man. I'd love to talk to you. It's completely changed my life. You can see it's changed John's. And I grew up a Christian. I grew up around it, but there's a shift that occurs when it hits deeper than surface. And I'd love to do that. Today, dude, we were supposed to talk about, let me see what my notes say.
Generating more leads than ever.
Generating more leads and how to close those leads. Just call John, reach out to Pipeline, Mr. Pipeline. That's how you do it. Running an incredible business, digital agency firm. If you need a digital agency firm, hit him up. Totally dropped the ball on that, dude. Here's the other thing. Let me grab this book. Go get a copy. Ring the bell. This guy is a mindset guru. You don't go through life with extreme loss and pain and not develop a mindset for growth and latitude. So, man, check out Jon Majak, home service marketing and mindset expert. Get on Amazon right now. I'll put a link in the comment. Buy your book, ring the bell. If you can't afford it, I'll buy it for you. You deserve it. Brother, thank you so much.
Man, I love you, dude. Thank you so much for having me, dude. It was an honor.
Thank you, brother. See ya.
Peace.